Macquarie Private Wealth. Julia, from your positioning here today, we had technical issues on markets domestically. This was problematic. It was a key moment in time with options expiry. The problem being that on that very measure, you had your trades thwarted because of technology. Just walk us through that.
Absolutely. So we did see the index options expiry today, so the SPI futures expiry for September. And I guess if you have a look at it, usually the close is on midday. So midday today we should have seen the closing price for the SPI futures contracts. But today was a little bit different and there was a little bit of a delay. It looks like it happened at 12:32. Now, did that impact on the market? It is questionable, but if we have a look at the intraday for the Australian share market, this is it. And you can see that we did very well till 12 o'clock, which is usually when expiry happens. And then over the next half an hour, a lot of nervousness in the market until 12:32 when we did see those futures expiry actually happening. So it does look like there has been an impact on the market, and the market just wasn't able to come back and regain that optimism in the morning. We closed up 0.9%, which is a great performance, but still less than half the gains that we had at the highs, where the market was gaining 1.9%. It has to be said, during the afternoon, we did see some of that optimism coming out of the Asian markets. Korea at one point, the Korean Kospi was slightly negative territory. The S&P 500 futures over in the US were down by about 0.2%. So we did see some of the optimism leaving the market. But altogether, you'd have to say a great day for the market. The energy sector was a clear standout. A brand new high once again for Blackmores, but not only Blackmores, also TPG Telecom as well as Servcorp, although we did see some lows as well coming on the market. But altogether, a really good day, and we are watching the FOMC.
We are, and we would be blind markets today. You talked of energy and the rally in that same said space. We know Peter Coleman, as we speak, if I'm correct in terms of the reports that I've read, is somewhere inside PNG in a huddle with the Prime Minister. The question now is, what of Woodside shareholders and their right on all of this discussion? Is it acceptable, put simply, for cash to be splashed, if that is an option, on the table in order to secure a deal? Do you see a likelihood of that happening? Would it be appropriate? How would shareholders respond in the quest for Woodside to take over its rival in PNG?
If Woodside wants Oil Search, I think it has to put more cash on the table. How would the shares react? Well, probably negatively, because they would be paying a premium for Oil Search, which is natural in a takeover event. So Woodside Petroleum at the moment, a 1-for-4 offer on the table. At the time the offer was made, it was a 14% premium, but this is an all-share offer. So given where the share price is closed at today, that offer is now worth $7.49, which is lower than where Oil Search closed at. So obviously Oil Search shareholders aren't really going to be too moved by that. But given that we have seen Oil Search shares moving 12.5% since that offer first was made, and Woodside Petroleum going in the opposite direction and losing 2%, you can see why that's occurred. Now, oil prices have stabilised, and we did see a big bounce overnight, so that's got to be taken into consideration as well. So while we are seeing the oil price moving upwards, expectations of a higher bid are going to continue. And not surprising to see Woodside going over to Papua New Guinea to talk to the Papua New Guinean government, given that they own 10% of not only Oil Search but also 17% of the Papua New Guinea LNG project. So it does look like this is still in play. We're still watching ExxonMobil as well, which has a 33% stake in the Papua New Guinea LNG project. So there'd probably be a lot more synergies for ExxonMobil to take over Oil Search and Papua New Guinea and up its stake in the Papua New Guinea LNG project. But very interesting given where oil is. But of course, really markets, and the most important thing for markets at the moment is just this FOMC meeting. And Carson, can I say it's not just the decision on whether interest rates are going to rise or not, because at the moment it's in a band of 0 to 0.25%, so 0 to 0.25%, and rates have really been around that midpoint, around about 0.13 to 0.12%. If we do see rates move, is it just going to be the upper band? So we're going to see it 0 to 0.5%, which effectively would not necessarily be a policy tightening, because we could see rates stay around the same of 0.121, or do we see the whole band move, so a 0.25 to 0.5%?
What's your hunch? What's your hunch?
I think it would be much easier just to move the upper band, but that's only one of the things to watch. The other thing to watch is the expectations around further hikes as well, and if we do see that downgraded, then that could be bullish for risk assets as well. So do we see lift off? Do we not? the market's, determined by greed or fear, and today it was by greed because the market's only pricing in a 28% probability that liftoff is going to occur tomorrow. So really pricing in the future at this stage, the market rallying and of course risk assets doing well.
And a more broad theme as well, just keying off this one on the dollar. Mike began with a call that we do face some downdraft for the greenback. Julia, short term, how are you judging that one?
Look, the Aussie dollar really is moving on the expectation that we won't see too much happening tomorrow. And that's why the Aussie dollar has been trading above 72 US cents. If you do see liftoff and you do see hawkish take, expect risk assets to be sold off. So the Aussie dollar being sold off, the market's being sold off. So at the moment, the market just pricing in that nothing much is going to happen, and really going with the interest rate futures over in the US, it's just pricing 28% or a 1 in 3 chance that we will see liftoff tomorrow. Of course, if we don't, expect to see a reversal of some of the conditions that we saw today.
Speaking of dollars and cents and all